I'm Ethan, I love muzzleloading. Today we're finishing up the woodworking on our CVA Hawken Kit by going into our butt stock and refining our cheek piece and normalizing the surfaces around our patch box. With our wrist shaping, we're kind of back here now to the rest of our butt stock, and now is where we kind of get to shape this and really add some more flair to it. First up, what I want to mark here is I want to adjust and clean this out a little bit. We have a sharper curve coming up into that crest. That's just a little bit of wood removal. Not a lot, you know, we don't want to take out too much here. This section, this lighter section of the wood is actually a little punky. It's not nearly as hard, you know, so I wonder if this is some sapwood or maybe it's just some underdeveloped wood compared to the rest of the stock here. So we'll have to match all of this in line with our butt plate. We're going to do a separate video about correcting our butt plate issues. So I'm not sure when that comes out in the timeline compared to where you're at now. But we're going to continue shaping the rest of our butt stock here and kind of stop at this area down here with our toe and not really touch any of that toe because we need to patch some things in here. So on this side, our side plate side, we have our cheek rest, and our cheek rest is, you know, as it comes from the factory, leaves a little bit to be desired. And so I'm referencing my Bob Woodfill book here in this picture of that cheek rest, and I'm just kind of making some guiding lines here. We have kind of a vertical area, and this is where our cheek rest kind of stops. You can see there we have a little bit here. Use our tools here. But we have our line there coming off of our cheek rest, and if we bring that down and angle it some, it's just about the same line. Across that cheek rest. So what I'm going to do is we're going to grab a ruler or a straight edge. We're going to draw a second line here using our mortise. And we can take that up just a little bit more if we wanted to. To me, I kind of like the more forward red line there, but we'll kind of see where that takes us. But I kind of like that there, and then we'll bring this area down and blend it in with the rest of this here. I remember Bob Woodfill saying that this is more of a straight line than not. So we'll kind of straighten that out some too. I really like the cheek piece or the cheek rest when it comes to a Hawken rifle. It's just, I think that's one of the things that people really see and really like and really makes it a Hawken. For a lot of people, maybe not for you. But I really like to try to make these good on these kits, and you know, there's a lot of wood here that makes it possible for us to do this a little bit better. So that's what we're going to do, or try to do. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and define this line a little bit more, get this trimmed up, and start cutting in our curve that comes up a little bit higher here. I'm going to start by trying to use this pretty coarse half-round rasp, just because we have a lot to work through. going to do a whole lot more up there. This is where having something off a handle can be really handy. Like this single cut half round here. I can come in from both directions. I want to make sure that up here at the front, really finish that point out and let it just blend into the wrist. Because up here, what we can do is we'll remove more of the wrist wood to make it slimmer and more slender to match what we want. And that will kind of back up and remove the extra point that we're laying in here. Okay, now I'm kind of sighting down it here, and what I liked about that Gemmer Hawken that we did is I came in here with a round, pretty coarse file and kind of made a back sweep almost underneath this cheek rest, made it look more pronounced than it actually was because we have limitations on our wood here. So that's what we're going to do next. This is a Nicholson. I think this would be called a pretty coarse rat tail file. I don't have a number or anything on here, but this is what we're going to use to start kind of bringing this cheek rest in. So much like with our rasp, it's going to start coming in here and working the line of our wood back into a curve that we like. And then I'm going to let it kind of blend out there up at the top. So because I'm right-handed again, and just one of the limitations I run up against is it's hard for me to come in here. You know, it just doesn't feel right. So what I'm doing is I'm coming in right-handed and I'm establishing this line. And then I'm coming back in here right-handed like this, and I'm blending that line into my curve. Then you can come back in with your half round up on edge if you want to, and you can bring your curve up into and in line with the upper face here and really refine that edge a bit. And really, it's not looking too bad. For that little bit of work, you start to really define that a little bit more. I think make that a little bit better. Like I said, don't really want to work down here a whole lot. And come back up here though. You can start to work the rest of this stock. Get our shape established. So even though we came in here and cut this curve in, now that I'm coming in over the top with our flat, it kind of cleans up and diminishes that curve in a nice, delicate way. And as we take away this kind of ridge that was there, that whole curve doesn't look as exaggerated as it did. So we can come back in, and even with a smaller file, if we want to, and using this smaller file, we can continue to back draft or cut into that curve a little bit and increase the contrast. Again, not something you have to do. Just giving you some ideas. So I'm happy with where this is at now as far as this back end. We've lined up and we're intersecting now with our brass butt plate. What I want to do next here is come in with our half round file a little bit and clean up underneath and clean this curve up. Just a touch. I want that to be a little bit more gradual than it is. And this is a little tricky because we have a few directions now. So I'm opting to come in here with this round file. And clean up the vertical face. Now we'll aid this a bit by coming in across the top here. But I want to clean up this underside of the face. And this is something that we could do with sandpaper as well. So by coming in on this curve and this curve, we can further refine and tighten that up as each of those intersect, which is my goal. And when we do that, kind of work in tandem to clean up those edges. And then if we need to, we don't really, can come in here with our half round. And clean up those intersections a little bit. Okay, I think with that, we can work on our crest a little bit, flip this over, and take a look at our Patchbox side. It's hard to see where you're at now, but our crest needs just a little bit of refining here, and we can do a couple things in tandem in this position. I'm going to take my pretty coarse half round here, my trusty, and it's going to kind of work this back. Okay, and that's all I'm doing there. I mean, it's kind of a quick deal, but I'm just pushing that back a little bit and taking away some of the extra material that was at the front. From there, what we can do, we can come in here with our half round face down. We can cut in a bit. We'll possibly want to do this on both sides, but I think for right now, I'm going to focus on our Patchbox side. Just because this wood up here at the top of this stock is just almost punky in nature, and it's, when I say that, it's kind of spongy. Punky is just a term that I've always used to describe that. It's the light colored wood that you see here is totally different than this wood down here. The wood down here on the toe is super hard, very tough. This up here, I can dent it with my fingernail. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of cleaning up. And bringing a little bit of refinement to the front of our crest. I don't want to do a whole lot more there. I want to move into matching our stock to our butt plate and our Patchbox here. So I've got my double cut Simon's flat here. It says flat BD if you're looking for particulars. We're just going to work our way down this stock. So after a little bit of work, we're doing pretty good on the upper part of our box here. Let's have some ridges and lines that I'm working out. We're going to come back through with sandpaper on most of this. I'm staying away from our toe because of what we need to do back here with our butt plate, but I want to get this section still pretty well cleaned up and matching before we stop for today. I wonder if I pop that open. Got a little bit here. I feel pretty good all around that patch box. But it feels pretty good for where we're at. Okay. Now we'll flip her up on the edge here. Run the same thing with our crest, getting it matched up. And really, at this point, you don't really need to do a whole lot more. I'm just kind of going around here and checking and cleaning this stuff up where I see that it might need it. So from this angle, I can look down on this area here, and I can identify, you know, oh, I want to narrow this up a little bit. And I can go in there and I can narrow that up. Just doing a couple other little tidy up sections here. And that's really where we can stop for right now. We need to come in here and fix our butt plate gap back in here real quick, and then we can finish out the wood shaping on our toe. And really from there, it's on to metal finishing, which a lot of it we're going to be able to do right on the stock, which is going to be great. And then we're just about done. With that done now, I'm really excited that we're kind of to the point now where we can finish up and fix this butt plate issue that we've had since the start, get it finalized, and then we are really in the home stretches. It's not going to be too long before we're in here cleaning up some of the metal hardware with some sandpaper. I'm thinking about trying to finish all of the metal hardware, at least the brass stuff, in its mortises with sandpaper, just so that it's refined and ready to go, and we don't have to take things in and out. Something like the trigger guard we'll probably have to do in a vise, but I think the rest of the hardware and things, we can do a lot of the refinement and cleanup work in the stock, which I'm excited about trying out. Still considering and still thinking about how we're going to finish this. Do you think it's the kind of thing we should finish it to where it looks new and, you know, everything's nice and shiny and clean, or do you think we should age it a little bit? Let me know what you think. There's going to be a little bit of time here before we get to that step, so you getting in those comments and things as we're doing this series now is the kind of thing that I can apply and implement as we move forward. So as always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any tips or anything or any comments, please let me know. I love hearing your feedback. That's it. I'm Ethan. I love muzzleloading. We'll catch you next time.